All right. Shalom, shalom, everyone. Welcome to the Bread and Wine Podcast. This is the Bread and Wine Podcast. Just like a pimp named Slickback. Just like a Tribe Called Quest, you have got to say the entire thing. The Bread and Wine Podcast. We just got bread and wine right there. With one of your hosts, Yahuka said, and to my right and your left is
Caleb.
Ben Yasharal. And that's all we got for today.
Shalom. Have a good day.
Shalom. Shabbat shalom to some of y'all, depending on when this recording will be aired. It might even be Shabbat when this recording might be aired. But for us, it is. But if some of y'all are asking, if you're watching this, why are we wearing white? This is actually the first time you see us in this type of, what would we say, festive gear? Set apart garments?
Clothing.
More so?
Yeah.
Why is that, Caleb?
Because for us, Yom Kippurim, or Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement, has passed. So,
what do we do for Day of Atonement? What is Day of Atonement, for those that don't know?
It is one of the, they say 7 feast days, really 7 Moedim. It's not a feast day, because definitely not feasting. One of the 7 Moedim that the Most High has commanded, one of his set-apart times, specifically a fall Moedim, a fall Moed, fall set-apart time. 10 days after Yom Teruah, which is the day of shouting, also known as the day of trumpets, but it's really the day of yelling, the day of shouting. Woohoo! All right, Daffy Duck. It's 10 days after that. It is the day where the high priest would have 2 goats. Well, first he would have a bull and a ram that he would have to do things for his own sin. And then after he did that, he would have 2 goats. One goat was for Yah, and that one is the one where essentially all of the sins, or not even just sins, but the uncleanness of the nation, the filth of the nation, was transferred onto one. Onto the goats. One was killed, and one was sent to Azazel. That's basically the one. I'm sorry, that's the one that the priest put his hands on, and all the filth was transferred out, sent into the wilderness to Azazel. Anybody who's familiar with the book of Enoch knows Azazel was buried in the desert. So that goat had his filth transferred, and essentially the dirt that belongs to Azazel is sent right back to him.
But why does the KJV say scapegoat? Because in the KJV, you're not going to see, well, if you look in the interlinear, like
it'll say Azazel.
But in the KJV, you're going to just see scapegoat.
So there's some people that say Azazel, it has something to do with just going away. So that's why the KJV translators decide to use scapegoat. And in fact, that's where we get the term scapegoat from. So if you ever heard somebody say, oh, you're trying to make me the scapegoat, that's where the term comes from.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Trying to make me take the fall.
Yeah, trying to make me take the blame, which is technically not what's happening with the goat. The goat is not taking the blame. The goat is transferring the trash. It's a little bit different.
Okay.
Yeah. Sucks to be that goat.
Sucks to be that goat.
Granted, the other one died, so, you know.
Yeah. So, what we learned... Sorry. Sorry. So what we learned from Yom Kippur is that Yahuwah atones or covers his people, and Yahuwah also sets his people free. This is connected to the year of release, or the Yubel, or the Jubilee. And also, I'm going to go to Deuteronomy 15 because that's what my notes say. And Deuteronomy 15, starting at verse 1, says, at the end of every 7 years, you make a release of debt. Now, I'm reading from the TS 2009. There might be a better version. You know what? I'm going to go to the ESV. And at the end of every 7 years, you shall grant a release. And this is the manner of the release. Every creditor shall release what he has lent to his neighbor. He shall not exact it of his neighbor, his brother, because Yahuwah release has been proclaimed. For a foreigner, you may exact it, but whatever is yours and whatever is your brother's in your hand, you shall release. But there will be no poor among you. There will be no poor among you. But there will be, for Yahuwah will bless you in the land that Yahuwah your Elohim is giving you to inherit as a possession. If only you will strictly obey the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim, being careful to do all his commandments that I am commanding you today. So in terms of this release, Yom Kippur is a day of release. It is a day of canceling debt. It is a day of repentance. It's a day of forgiveness. It's a day of restoration, reconciliation, a turning towards one another, a communication of love, of release, of pardon, the renewing of the mind towards each other, a circumcised heart, and also the humbling, the taking the correction or accountability for your own actions.
Man, you just straight took the notes.
Oh, yeah. Copy and paste, brother.
Copy and paste.
Copy and paste. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else you got?
So one thing that's interesting about Deuteronomy 15, in regards to both the cleansing and the release part, it should be noted this is for his people. If you notice, the foreigner, which in this case would be somebody who's living in the land but isn't part of the covenant.
You know what? Let me see.
Yeah.
Let's Deuteronomy 15:3.
Yeah.
Let's see if this is a ger or a toshav.
Well,
We had a conversation.
yeah. Well, it's definitely not going to be a foreigner who's not living in the land, and it's not going to be a proselyte or a convert. So that's the only option that's really left.
Nukari. I wouldn't care. So it was an alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, technically it's neither a ger or a toshav.
yeah, well,
Anyway, but go ahead.
yeah. So, well, I mean, technically it could. Well, I guess it could be a person living outside the land too, in a sense. But this is only for the people inside the covenant.
Only for the people inside the covenant.
Sometimes we have a tendency to want to hold everybody in the world to the expectations of people in the covenant. Yom Kippurim, Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, is to atone for the people inside the covenant. It's not for people outside. Really, all the Moedim are like that. Excuse me, all the Moedim are like that. I'm sorry, but we've been eating. You know, I'm getting older. All the Moedim are like that. They really are for people inside the covenant. They're not, everybody, you need to be keeping Pesach. Well, if they're not in the covenant,
You don't need to be keeping it.
they don't need to be keeping Pesach. Right? It's for people in the covenant. So for those of us that believe that we have a lineage to Israel, whether that be 100%, 50%, 20%, 2%, whatever, if you're saying that you're also partaking in the Israelite covenant, then you would need to be keeping these things. Now, in regards to Yom Kippur, obviously we are Messianic, so we believe in the Messiah, and we don't have a temple or a high priest on earth. Excuse me, to be doing the priestly aspect, the high priest aspect. Yeah. So for us, that is where Yahusha comes in. He would be the high priest. So
The Hebrews 8.
yeah, Hebrews 8.
I got you. Hold on.
Yeah. So for us, the understanding is not that we don't have to do this anymore since we believe in the Messiah. It is that the functions have been replaced.
All right. So Hebrews 8, starting at verse 1. Now the point that we are making or we are saying is this. We have such a high priest, one who is seated at the right hand of the throne of majesty in the heaven, a minister in the set-apart place in the true tent that Yahuwah set up and not man. Now, I'm going to pause right here. So in terms of when someone says Yahusha being sitting at the right hand of majesty on high, he's not sitting at the right hand of majesty on high as Elohim or as the Most High. He's sitting as a high priest. Okay? Just want to let that be known. When he's sitting on the right hand, he's sitting as high priest. Okay? According to Hebrews 8. Verse 3. For every high priest, once again, is appointed to offer gifts and sacrifices, thus as it is necessary for the priest also to have something to offer. Now, if he, Yahusha, were on earth, he would not be a priest at all, since there are priests who offer gifts according to the law, Levitical priesthood. They serve as a copy and a shadow of the heavenly things, For when Moses was about to erect the tent, he was instructed by Elohim, saying, "See that you make everything according to the pattern that was shown to you on the mountain. But as it is, Mashiach has obtained a ministry that is much more excellent than the old as the covenant. He mediates is better, since it is enacted on better promises." And then it talks about, for the first covenant had been faultless, there would have been no occasion for a second, but he finds fault with them. But long story short, yeah.
So something else is interesting. If we look at Leviticus, so everything we talked about in the Atonement, the entire, in terms of what the high priest would do on earth in the original covenant, the entire ceremony, you can actually read that in Leviticus 16. But something about Leviticus 16 that's interesting. When the high priest was making an atonement, who or what was he making the atonement for?
He made it for himself and then for the people.
Okay. But what specifically was he atoning for? There was something specific he was atoning for.
Well, let me go find it.
Okay, I'll read it. I got it.
Oh, you got it already? Okay.
Yeah. So, we're going to start here. Go to 16:6. So, and Aaron shall present the sin offerings bull, which is for himself. Mm-hmm. And so he shall make atonement for himself and for his family. And he shall take the 2 goats, and he shall present them before Yahuwah at the tent of assembly's entrance. Then Aaron shall cast lots for the 2 goats, one for Yahuwah and one for Azazel. And Aaron shall present the goat on which the lot for Yahuwah fell, and he shall sacrifice as a sin offering. But he must present alive before Yahuwah the goat on which the lot for Azazel fell, to make atonement for himself, and to send it away into the desert.
By strong man.
By strong man. Now, watch this. I'm going to jump down to verse 14, right? And he shall take some of the blood, the bull's blood, and he shall splatter it with his finger on the atonement cover's surface on the eastern side, and before the atonement cover he shall spatter some of the blood with his finger 7 times. And he shall slaughter the sin offerings goat, which is for the people, and he shall bring its blood from behind the curtain, and he shall do with its blood as which he did with the bull's blood, and he shall splatter it on the atonement cover and before the atonement cover. Thus he shall make atonement for the sanctuary from the Israelites' impurities.
I did read that today, the impurities.
And from their transgressions for all their sins. And so he must do the tent of assembly, which dwells with them in the midst of their impurities.
So he had to do the lid of atonement and the sanctuary. So in other words, the Mishkan, or later time, the Mishkan would be the tabernacle, and later time, the temple. Mm-hmm. So the Day of Atonement was not just for himself and the people, it was also for the actual structure. It was basically for everything.
Yeah.
Everything connected to Israel. The entire nation, people, and instruments. I guess within the aspect of the temple, all the things of the temple. My goodness.
Yeah, I know, man. I told you I've been eating.
Man, you should have had some ginger beer or something.
Yeah, man. I don't know what's going on.
You need to burp.
I am.
I mean, you need to burp so you can get it out like, excuse me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not trying to do that on a. But I didn't start until you hit record. Then all of a sudden, here it comes.
Anyway, go ahead. What were you saying about the and for the people and for the tabernacle?
Yeah. So so a lot of it was centered around the temple. Mm-hmm. Even the aspect of it being done for the people, a lot of that was centered around the temple. So, if we don't have a temple anymore, what would essentially be the point of still doing it? Don't get me wrong, it's still for the people. I'm not saying it's not for the people, but if there's no temple, what's the point of still doing it?
Aren't we the temple?
Bingo. We pretty much end on that. Y'all have a good night.
So yeah, us being the dwelling place of Elohim, because he does not dwell in things made with men's hands, in terms of buildings and structures and everything like that. Well, yeah, I guess we end on that then.
Well, we could end on that, but that would be a short episode. So that could be a wine.
That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be a wine tasting.
Y'all don't mind, do you? Anyway, go ahead.
You said, okay. So, that could be this could be a wine tasting, or we could just close this topic. We could close the book here and maybe open another topic.
Like how Yahusha closed the book.
He closed the book.
He closed the book.
All right, so that's inside joke between.
Basically, okay, all right. So we about to move this topic real quick, but we're gonna bring it back, right? We're gonna bring it back. I'm just going here real quick. Okay. When Yahusha was reading the scroll of Isaiah, and he talked about, matter of fact, let me just go to it.
Let's tell them the story of why we bring this up.
No, I don't want to tell the story. I just want to talk about it.
I want to tell the story.
Okay, you tell the story, and then I'm gonna go from there. All right,
Okay.
go ahead.
So, back when we had did we do the first episode yet?
No.
Okay, we hadn't even done the first episode of the podcast yet. It was everybody that was originally, well, they're still part of the podcast. They're just not here right now. But everybody, all of us were on the phone. So it was me, who said, Netzar, Yirmiyahu, and Lex. And we were on the phone with another group. They had camp doctrine, good brothers, nothing against them. But one of the things I noticed when we were having the conversation, really strong disagreements, was that they would only use one verse at a time. And they weren't really concerned with the context of the verse that was being read. So even if the verse was clearly saying something totally different than whatever they were using it for, it didn't matter because that verse in isolation could be used to defend their point, even if it wasn't in context. So I brought that out to them. And they went to the verse that he's about to pull out. And essentially, in this verse, the Mashiach, well, you read it first, and then I'll finish the story.
Well, I got a different story.
Okay. So essentially what happens is in this verse is Mashiach read from the book of Isaiah, and then it says he closed the book and sat down. So from their understanding, because he did that, they only need to read one verse at a time. And then that's all. So the context doesn't matter. None of that matters. They just read it, one verse, and they can close the book. And because, again, they have camp doctrine, they don't just say stuff. They have to enunciate it a certain way. So it's not, hey, he closed the book. It's, he closed the book. And they said that about 3 or 4 times. We all know how people in camps do. I love y'all, but y'all have a very specific way of talking. And it's hilarious when it's just a regular conversation and you're still talking like that. So, yeah.
All right, so
that's the story.
Isaiah 61. The Ruach of the Master Yahuwah is upon me because Yahuwah has anointed me to bring good news to the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim the release to the captives and the opening of the prison to those who are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahuwah.
Close the book.
Okay, so there's another story that I had, right? And this does go along with atonement. That kind of just came to mind, just in that aspect of proclaiming release to the captives, opening the prisons to those who are bound, the acceptable year of Yahuwah. He's proclaiming release, which is like a jubilee in terms of that aspect. So, but anyway, that's just kind of what came to mind, just concerning just reading that and just thinking back on, Yom Kippur, what it's about and everything like that. But anyway, so he closed it right there and sat down. But what we have some of us, what we have a tendency to do is, I understand, is to continue reading. And where it says to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahuwah and the day of vengeance of our Elohim, to comfort all who mourn. Yahusha didn't do that.
Yet.
He did not proclaim the day of vengeance of our Elohim. He didn't do it. Yet. But I'm talking about when he was on the earth, he did not do that. So we should be following what he did. Now, I do understand that, of course, we can warn people and everything like that, but it doesn't have to be centered around the day of vengeance. It doesn't have to be centered around the day of vengeance. It can be centered around breaking the bonds in terms of the fast that he asked for. What's the fast that he asked for? For giving to the poor and needy and setting free and clothing the naked and everything like that, setting free the captives, being a light, helping people. That should be something that we should be working towards and helping people out towards. So
yeah, in that regard, to that point, it does sound like you're saying people need to use more wisdom when they're having discussions with people.
Yeah.
Because there is a time to talk about the vengeance. There's a time to talk about it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't need to be every time.
Don't need to be the forefront.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be every time. But again, it depends. Mm-hmm. There might be a time where it is necessary for it to be the forefront.
That's true. I'll take that back. That's true. Because sometimes people be wilding.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be every. And most of the time, to be honest with you, when you want to talk about discipline and you want to talk about vengeance and things like that, the people you want to talk to are people already in the walk. Because generally, people in the walk are the ones who mess up. Like when I would say mess, I'm aware of their messing up, I should say. We have the Torah. We have, every time I try to talk, we have the understanding. So it's almost like if you're in your parents' house and your kid, the only person that really needs to hear about how bad their parents is about to beat them is really the children in the house. The children outside the house don't really need to worry about getting spankings from those parents because they're not in the house.
That's true.
Right? So the ones outside kind of need a different message because they don't have the knowledge and they're not in the house to be held accountable to the knowledge.
So you need to get in the house.
You need to get in the house. Now,
how do you get somebody in the house?
Well, conversations.
You got to show them how good the house is.
That too. They got to know how good the house is.
Know how good the house is.
Yeah, they got to know what's the point of what they want to be in this house.
Why I got to be in the house for?
Yeah. So.
Because you're dirty and you're stinking outside. You need to be cleaned.
Don't say it like that. But yeah.
But nah, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm just playing.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, no, but for real, the ones who generally need that kind of talking are the ones that are inside the house already. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people like to look at the prophets and say, well, the prophets talked to people. They were talking to people inside the wall. They were talking to people inside the truth.
That is true.
And yes, they did talk about the other nations too, but the other nations, they were talking about how they were doing things that they also knew was wrong, right? Namely, abusing Israel. So, yeah, you talk to people hard and things like that when you're holding them accountable, but they have to know what they're being held accountable to, and they have to have agreed to be held accountable to that.
You said accountability.
Which goes back to Day of Atonement really being a thing for us and people in the wall.
Let's talk about a nah.
Yeah.
A nah. Afflict. So what do you get from that word for afflict your being or to torture yourself?
Yeah, well, humble. Yeah. So the word nah, it can in some contexts mean torture. Mm-hmm. So you're torturing yourself. Mm-hmm. Now there's some people say, hey,
excuse me, not to torture, to torment.
Torment, torture. Wow, what a difference. Well, there is a difference because torture is like, yeah, torture is.
There's a huge difference between torture and torment.
Yeah.
Torment could just be like, you continue to think about something that's making you very uncomfortable. Torture is like, anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a little bit of a difference between torture and torment, but not drastic. So yeah, torment. So some people would say, well, that means to fast, like fast from food, because
Zoom.
Yeah, that's the word for fast from food, Zoom. But they say that the afflict yourself is a Israelite euphemism. It's really more of a Jewish euphemism. Not saying that you can't fast. I fast every Yom Kippur, but
me as well.
Yeah,
I do a dry. You do a dry fast?
Yeah, I don't eat or drink anything.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
So obviously it's over. So yeah, so I'm not going to say don't do it. I'm not going to say, I'm not even going to really argue or debate that point. I would just say that I don't see evidence in the text that afflicting yourself, anah, means to fast. Definitely. However, abstaining from things that do give you pleasure, I can see not only because of that, but also because of not supposed to work. And when you look at, it's particularly on the Moedim, what that term for work means, it doesn't just include making money activities. It can include hobbies and things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. So the word for anah actually has a couple of definitions. Of course, we talk about afflict, to oppress. Also means to humble, to bow down, to submit, to reply, to answer, to be silent, or to accept. So basically, from what I got concerning it, is that to afflict your being would be an aspect of you thinking about things that you have done wrong and, in a sense, answering for it, accepting the punishment of it, and I guess that's one thing in terms of taking responsibility, taking accountability, and asking Yahuwah to help you get these things like away from you, so you're not struggling or dealing with the same type of affliction every single year.
Okay, so I'm not disagreeing with you, but I want to dig a little deeper into that.
Okay.
Because to an extent, everything you said should be done daily, right?
Very true.
You should be repenting, and repenting doesn't just mean saying I'm sorry. Repenting means turning away, but you should also be admitting the things that you've done daily, right? The goal should be you have multiple days where you're not doing anything wrong at all. We all strive to get to that point. But in the meantime, while we still are fighting against ourselves, you should be daily doing this, daily repenting, and daily confessing your faults and your sins, and accepting the punishment when it comes. So on atonement, how would you apply it in that sense?
In terms of accepting it?
Not just accepting, but everything you said, being accountable for the things you've done, the answer and all of that. How would you apply that specifically on atonement? Because a lot of that could be done every day, should be done every day.
So I believe specifically for atonement, it should be an aspect of taking all those things into account and then praising Yahuwah for it. Praising Yahuwah for offering Yahusha as an atonement. So while you're in the state of affliction, you are not only thinking about the things that you have done to cause you to, get this punishment, but also you're thanking Yahuwah for not, in all honesty, taking you out because of it. Sending Yahusha for that. There's actually a prayer that we did. It's called the Al-Khet. It's a, I think it's a Jewish prayer, but it means like for the sin or to the sin or something like that. But it's a pretty interesting prayer. and you're just, confessing. You're just confessing all different types of sin, intentional, non-intentional, things that for not offering, not being what is it? Not offering a sin offering for something, and not offering a peace offering for something. Things is like, hey, maybe I did something that was capital punishment. Forgive me for that, and just asking Yahuwah to pardon you, and then thanking him because he is the one that pardons sins. He is the one that restores. He is the one that heals. Yahuwah Rapha. So yeah, that's my answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Shalom.
you're going to hear me say something and then say it. See, I didn't say it when you were still talking.
Well, you had stopped. You said, so.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
You weren't talking.
All right, so anyway, for me, I would say, continuing on for what I said, all those things you should be doing on a daily basis. Yom Kippur, again, we're primarily focusing on the entire nation. But nations are made of people. So, as an individual, having done this all year, I can now go to the temple or tabernacle, metaphorically speaking, with everything that I've been doing throughout the year, having been confessed. And now I can approach Yom Kippur and essentially put these things onto the goat, metaphorically speaking, and have it sent away. And I can come out from this day cleansed. And it's important that I come out from this day cleansed because in 5 days, we got an appointment to meet somebody. So, that would be my approach, especially now that we don't have a literal temple with a literal high priest. Well, we do have a literal high priest with a human high priest and literal goats. That's how I would apply that for us today. Is as individuals, we should have been doing that all year, making sure that we're confessing. So that way, when Yom Kippur comes, everything we've confessed is basically like a ball of nastiness on us, right? We've been forgiven from it in the sense of getting into the kingdom. We've been forgiven in terms of our relationship with the Father, but it's still nastiness that's on us. So any guilt, now I'm not saying you're not going, if the Father still got you in the corner with your hands up like this, if the Father got you spiritually in the corner doing what's it called, Drew Hills, you're still going to do the Drew Hills. But the filth and nastiness that comes from whatever you did, you can now push that off on atonement and walk out clean. Still going to do your Drew Hills, but you're clean. You were already forgiven, so that part's good. You're clean now. You're atoned for. You're covered. So that's how I approach that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think sometimes on this tangent, I think sometimes when we look at sin, and specifically sin, not things that make you unclean, like, women when they get on their nidah, or married people when they have intimate time, that might make you unclean, so to speak. But it's not it's unclean, but it's not a sin. It's just it just makes you physically unclean, right? And you have to
dirty.
Yeah. But sin itself has a lot more ramifications than sometimes we might think. Because, we think, oh, I disobeyed the Father's command, let me go and be forgiven. But it still did something, right? You might have affected other people. You might have affected yourself. You might have opened yourself up to some things in some cases. Now you have to be disciplined. And you still have whatever ramifications that naturally occurred because of what you did. So sin can have some serious effects. And a lot of times it takes a lot to actually, depending on the sin, it may take a lot to repair the damage that's been done. And atonement is like one of the things that helps with that. But it's not always as simple as, forgive me, and then I just walk away.
Well, the other aspect that we talked about is about the forgiveness of ourselves.
Yeah.
Like us forgiving ourselves. Sometimes, we can be very critical of ourselves. Very critical than even Yahuwah be more critical of us. We can be, not have compassion for ourselves. And it can affect a lot of things, like mindset wise, or how we're going into something. We could have good intentions of going into it, but once we're in it, it could, depending on how we think about ourselves, it could really affect the outcome.
Yeah.
It could really affect the outcome.
Well, yeah, but the key there is too critical. You want to be critical of yourself. You have to be.
You want to be overly critical.
Yeah, you want to be critical, but you don't want to be too critical. You don't want to be overly critical. If you fall, you need to be able to get back up. And when you're too critical,
you kind of just want to lay there.
You just lay there. Mm-hmm. So that's the problem. Mm-hmm. Now the reality of it is, if you're that critical of yourself, you probably did do something real jacked up, probably. But you still got to get up. And if the Father punishes you, it sucks, but at the same time, that's actually kind of a good thing. Because if you did something real jacked up and the Father let you go, that ain't a good sign. He chastises who he loves. He disciplines who he loves. And if he's not disciplining you, I'm not necessarily saying that he hates you. I'm just saying that there might be some serious reparations that need to occur in that relationship. Mm-hmm. And that could potentially be your salvation. Mm-hmm. Potentially. So I would, if you know that you are doing things that the scripture says not do, and you are not getting any sort of discipline in your life at all. Now, I'm not talking about you do something you're not supposed to do and the Father still looks out for you in terms of making sure you're still taken care of. I'm not talking about that, but there needs to be some sort of punishment that happens. Like, I did something and then my car tire went out, and now I got, and then I went and I couldn't find new cars, and I went a week without my car. That's just an example, but I'm just saying there has to be something. Mm-hmm. If you know that you're living a lifestyle that is not according to his word and nothing is happening, that means he's not looking at you as one of his children. Mm. So, because you discipline your children. But even in ancient times, there was a communal aspect to things, but you didn't just freely discipline somebody else's kids, right? They still had to, in some sense, be your children because they were the community's children. But you don't, if you saw somebody's child in another community, you didn't know their parent, you didn't discipline them, you don't know them. That's not your responsibility. So if he's not disciplining you, you're not his to discipline. And I would seriously check my lifestyle. And I would also like to go back to the original point that if he's not disciplining you, and that means essentially you probably are not his child, then what's the point of you doing atonement? You're not his. So So sin is a very serious thing. Again, I know a lot of people are coming out of Christianity, and a lot of camps are really focused on nationality. But sin is a very serious thing. It's very serious.
So I know we believe in terms of Israelites. You believe that you can lose yourself. Well, I take that back.
Most Israelites, I would say, believe that.
I think most Israelites do believe you can lose your salvation, except for some of them that believe that it doesn't, that whole reincarnation aspect. So they believe you really can't lose your salvation.
We're not talking about them right now.
Anyway, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But that was just kind of coming to mind because most of us do believe that you can lose your salvation. You can be good, and if you continue to mess up, no. Without repentance, no.
Yeah.
No. You're not reaping. You're gonna reap a reward, all right.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
And let me add another nuance to that.
Nuance.
Yep. The nuance being we're not necessarily talking about somebody who is really fighting something. There are some battles that can take years to fight.
Yeah. If you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a big, huge nuance.
Yeah.
You know,
There's some battles that can take some
certain
years to fight.
Certain struggles.
But with that being stated,
But you need to get help too.
yeah, you need to get help.
If you're not getting help with that struggle,
Yeah, you need to get help.
you know,
And let me also add another aspect to that too. You know when you got a struggle like that, or you just playing around. You know. You don't need anybody, me, him, or any of the other members of the podcast, or anybody from any of our assemblies, or from any other assembly to tell you. You know when you're playing that game with yourself. You know exactly when you're playing.
games.
So don't sit around here and try to play with y'all. Look, I'm not the one who's gonna throw you into hell or put you into the kingdom. You don't have to worry about me. Don't play with yourself and don't play with y'all like that. When I just said, well, there could be some people that have that struggle and say, well, I got that struggle too. No, you don't.
Don't be playing games.
Don't play.
Nintendo.
Don't play. So, again, there are struggles. There are struggles that are like that, though, where it can take you some time. People, in particular, people that were in certain lifestyles, especially with the way the world is today, again, people that are not in the faith, there are multiple lifestyles, not just the one that most people would think when I say, but there are multiple lifestyles that the world is like, that's good, and they actually either encourage it or they allow it. And then once you get into the walk, you realize that lifestyle is not okay. Particularly amongst black people, there are other lifestyles that our forefathers rejected, our grandparents rejected, and we have opened ourselves up to. Once you come in the walk and you realize you can't do that, if you've been doing that for 40 years, you're not going to be able to just immediately change like that. It's going to be a lot of things internally that the Ruach's really going to have to work with you. Excuse me. And that, again, that's going to take some time. Like he said, get help, though. Get help. And again, you need to be praying. You need to be fasting. You need to understand that, yes, the Father and the Ruach are working, and they are working on you. But it's not going to be just a sudden change. And there's a reason that you're going through that struggle. It's not like the Father's just putting you through that for torture purposes. There's a purpose in the fight. There's a reason for the fight. There's a reason why it's not going to be an easy takeaway. But it is going to be a fight. And there are people, like I said, who have that. But then again, there's some people y'all are just playing.
Yeah. So I was having a conversation the other day, and now, granted, a lot of us do look for a miracle.
Yeah.
Right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with looking for a miracle because, you know, it's something that helps with that deliverance right then and there. But deliverance comes in different ways. Sometimes, instead of a miracle, we need healing. And healing takes a lot longer. It's a process. But what healing does, it helps you to mature. It helps you to grow. It helps you to get stronger. A miracle, depending on what it is, may not necessarily, like I said, you might get that initial deliverance. Boom, you good to go. You get delivered from that, get healed automatically. But sometimes if you don't change certain things about yourself, you may be trying to look for that miracle again if, let's just say, whatever you got healed from automatically, if it comes back. If it comes back. With healing helps to tailor your lifestyle. It lets you to identify what it is, get to the root cause of it, and make certain changes that Yahuwah is, according to his word, is instructing you on. If you've gone to, righteous counselors in that aspect, and they're, people with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding will give you these instructions on what to do based upon the information, the wisdom that Yahuwah has given them. And once you start to walk in those things, it's something that once you get delivered from that, and once you get fully, from that, you can help somebody else with that. Sometimes with a miracle, you can't really help somebody because it's something that was just done for you and boom, that was it. Like I said, you might not have learned from that. You might not learn from it. But with healing, you're going to learn from it. You're going to. So,
that process builds character.
It does.
That process builds a lot of character.
Yeah.
And not only does it build a lot of character, it builds the relationship and it builds the trust.
Yes.
Because you're going to have to really lean on the Father. And with a miracle, you might not necessarily have to lean. So a perfect example of that is, how many of the people that did Yahusha save? Did he heal through miracles? How many miracles did he do?
A lot.
Okay. How many of those people actually followed him after they got done with the miracle?
Whenever let's just say he delivered the guy from the demons, delivered the healing guy, he told him to pick up his bed and walk. He told somebody else that do what is according to Moses, to bring the offering, show yourself. I think it was a guy with leprosy.
Yeah.
Show yourself to the priest, and then that kind of was it.
Yeah. So some people did follow him afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people didn't. And even one thing I know some people don't understand, a lot of the people that were even following him when he was going to preach and things, they weren't following him for his lesson. They wanted to get healed from something.
Wasn't one thing that when he fed, I know he fed the multitude twice.
He did that twice.
Didn't somebody ask him for food again?
I think that was just his disciples. I think. But somebody might have asked for food again. But yeah, a lot of the people that were following him, they weren't necessarily following him for the lessons. They weren't following him for their knowledge. A lot of the people, I'm not saying they didn't believe he was Mashiach, but a lot of them didn't know. But yeah, a lot of the people that he healed, not all of them followed him. A lot of them, he healed them, praise Yah, and they walked away. So, you know what I'm saying? So, miracles are good. Miracles are great. We all want a miracle. We all need miracles. But just like how Israel had to go through the wilderness, we know that Yah could have just went into Canaan and just did the same thing he did in Egypt and Canaan, and yet he didn't. He did it for Egypt, got them out of Egypt. They had to go in Canaan and fight. So, same thing. You know, there's some things that there will be some supernatural healing, but a lot of things, the Most High is going to expect you to go through it. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, it builds character, it deepens the relationships. There's a purpose for it.
I don't know where I read that at. If I read that somewhere, I don't know. No. Yeah, I probably didn't read it. Yeah, I probably did. Man.
I don't know why he's still looking at it.
I'm still looking for it.
It don't exist.
Okay, so let's change topics real quick. Let's change topics real quick, bruh. Hold on.
Got up off that fast.
Yeah, real quick. I'm gonna see if I can find it later. I probably won't be able to find it, but
ain't
anyway.
there.
But anyway, let's read this real quick, yo. Hold on, son. I'm gonna go to John 11.
Okay. Ain't got nothing to do with food. Go ahead.
Ain't got nothing to do with food. Yahusha wept.
Yeah, that's
Why did he weep?
Well, Lazarus had died.
Did he weep because Lazarus died?
Well, not exactly. So it says that he was moved by the people.
He was moved. In what way?
The people were sad, man.
Okay.
And he also loved Lazarus.
I'm gonna go to John 11. Hold on, son. I read this. Someone had brought this out, right? And I was like, "Oh snap!" That just I thought. Anyway, I'm just gonna read it. Oh, what is it? It's actually I think it's the ESV. The ESV says something kind of different. Let me see. John 11. So John 11:33. So it says, and Yahusha therefore, when he saw her weeping, and having come with her, Yahusha, the Yehudim weeping, it says he was deeply moved in the ruach and troubled. So the word for deeply moved, the Greek word that is used is the G1690. It is embrymaomai.
Okay, what's it mean?
To snort with anger. Deeply move, sternly warn, scolding, straightly charge, groan, murmur against. To have indignation on.
So they're saying he was mad?
He was upset.
Okay. Well, he was upset.
He was upset.
But also, yeah, and he says he
and
was...
then the Yahudi were like, oh. All right, okay. So this is the this.
Somebody told you this?
No, I read it.
Okay.
I literally read it, right? So then, because they were bringing it up to saying like, because we were all saying like, nah, he was upset because Lazarus died. He was like, I don't know. So we read it. So then you gotta listen to what he says. John 11. So it says, when Yahusha saw her weeping, and the Yahudim who had come with her, it says he was deeply moved.
Yeah.
In his ruach and greatly troubled.
Right.
And he said, where have you laid him? And they said, Master, come and see. Yahusha wept. So the Yahudi said, see how he loved him? But some of them said, could not he who opened the eyes of the blind also have kept this man from dying? Then Yahusha, deeply moved again, it says again, came to the tomb. It was a cave, and the stone lay against it. Yahusha said, take away the stone. Martha, the sister of the dead man, said, Master, by this time there will be an odor, for he has been dead 4 days. Yahusha said to her, didn't I tell you that if you believe that you would see the esteem of Elohim? Does he have an attitude right now?
Not really.
Okay.
Because, I mean, that's just kind of how they talk. I mean, remember when his mother, when she asked him, he was like, woman.
He was like, woman.
Yeah, but again, that's just how they talk. To us, that's real disrespectful to talk to your mother. But in 100 AD, hey, man, that's just how they talk to people.
I don't know, man. So I was like, it does sound like he a little irritated.
Yeah, to us in English.
It does to us in English. So then he was just like, so they took away the stone. He said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I knew that you always hear me. But I said this on the account of the people standing around, that they may believe that you have sent me. So this seems like this was one of the times that Yahusha openly, quote unquote, prayed.
That's one of the times?
What I've seen, usually it says that he went
yeah, you're right.
else alone.
Yeah, he went privately.
He went in private and did that. But there was this time that he actually spoke up and kind of said something out loud. But like, look, I'm doing this so that they know. And that happened. So I don't know. It seems like it's a possibility he could have been annoyed. Based upon that word.
I mean, I get that's what the word means, literally.
To snort with
Well,
anger.
yeah, but I mean, some people when they cry, you know, they hit the, you know, they get that kind of face.
It says like a horse.
I mean, maybe that's the noise he made. He got sad. You know what I'm saying? Some people do that. They get sad, they start crying. You know?
I do know.
Because you got to think about it. If he was mad, wouldn't nobody see somebody mad at somebody's tomb and be like, oh, he loved him?
Well, he said he wept.
Yeah.
So it says he was moved in his spirit. So he could have been irritated to the point to where, I don't know. I'm just saying.
He started crying because he was so mad?
Possibly.
Nah, I don't see that.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying because it says that it was because of the people, and that it's more consistent with what the story has going on, that he was moved to sadness, not necessarily anger.
I don't know why I would say that then. Or that word would be used.
I mean,
because I think when I went to the ESV, now this is the ESV, so it might just be the ESV that's doing this.
That's what I say. Are there other texts that have different Greek words there?
Also, hold on.
Yeah, that's what you'd have to look at, and then also, what does the Aramaic say?
Let me go to Aramaic, because Aramaic might save this.
Yeah, what does the Hebrew say?
Please, Yahuwah, let the Aramaic save this. Please, Yahuwah, let the Aramaic save this. I do not want to feel like he was upset. All right, then I said,
Yeah, I still don't think that's what the reading should be, but yeah, I think the translators might have made a better call by saying deeply moved. That makes more sense. What's the Aramaic say?
Hold on. Let me just make sure. Just make sure again. All right, so I'm in the Aramaic New Testament parallel English between Etheridge and Murdoch.
Okay.
All right, you accept that?
I think Murdoch is a little bit better, but yeah, they're fine. Etheridge is fine too. I think. Just read it.
All right. But Yahusha, when he saw her weeping, and those Yahudi who came with her weeping, he was moved in his ruach and was troubled.
Okay.
That was Etheridge. This is Murdoch.
Okay.
And when Yahusha saw her weeping, and the Yahudim weeping who came with her, he was moved in the ruach and was agitated.
Agitated doesn't necessarily mean angry, though.
Is that he was agitated? The ESV said he was moved with indignation. I'm just saying. Like, okay, so I'll say this, right? Now, I know he was definitely, had a lot of compassion for the people. Not taking that away, but I do know that he was irritated with them folks too.
Yeah, but why would he be irritated with them crying for somebody dying?
I don't know.
That's a human reaction.
I know. I'm just saying, like, I think based upon the stuff that he had done before to show him who he was, and it's like, y'all still don't believe? Because he said, Father, I'm doing this. I'm doing this so that they know and believe that you have sent me. I don't know. Murdoch just messed everything up. Murdoch just messed everything up for us. I'm just saying, man. Murdoch, oh boy. Wait, is there a?
I was gonna say, get the interlinear for the Aramaic.
I don't know if I have that.
I'm pretty sure you can Google it. There got to be a source.
Interlinear Aramaic?
Yeah.
It's a new one. Let me see.
A live study.
Yeah, it's a live study.
Oh, boy. Because I can't say he would just be mad.
No, you can't. It's all good.
Yeah, he walks up, sees a bunch of people crying at a funeral. Like, they don't know who I am? Like, I can't see that. I don't see that.
Y'all don't recognize who I am?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me see.
You don't see who's among you? That don't. I mean, I would get it if it was like illness or something, but death, I don't think at that point in time he had raised anybody from the dead publicly. I know there was the girl, but he told them to keep that private.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so
yeah, he did. It says it just says, well, one aspect, the holy Aramaic scriptures, it says that he groaned in the ruach, and his soul was troubled. So he was troubled in that aspect.
Okay.
I can't read this.
Well, of course you can't read it. It's not English. I'm just saying, can you get the interlinear?
No, not for that one.
Okay. We'll do it. We'll do it some other time, Mike. We got to finish the podcast.
I think we're done with that one.
We're done with that one, or we're done with the whole podcast?
I think we should be done with the whole thing.
Okay.
But anyway, that was just a little segue in terms of what I
had nothing to do with Yom Kippur. I don't even know. Don't even know how he got to it. It was just random.
Yom Kippur. Nothing had to do with Yom Kippur. I was trying to change the subject from what I saw earlier.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway.
It's all you.
But anyway, we appreciate y'all for joining this podcast. Once again, this is the Bread and Wine Podcast. This was kind of a it wasn't necessarily on the fly.
It was on the fly.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll try to make it better. But.
Yeah, you can't. It was on the fly.
Well, anyway, Yahuwah rebuke you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you, show favor unto you. Yahuwah lift up his face towards you and give you shalom. Thus you shall put my name with the children of Yahshua all, and I myself shall rebuke them. In the name of Yahusha, we say shalom.
Shalom.